All right, everyone. I'm just going to give a quick review for the test that would be next week. The next test would be over if statements, essentially. Now, as for the if statements, you have to know, of course, how to write them, how to read them. If I gave you some if statements, you should know, well, is that going to run or is it not going to run? Just like with the previous test, it works kind of the same way. Now, the initial questions, and there's not as many terms this chapter as there was last chapter, but I'll go over those real quick here. You have conditional control structure, which is your if statement. It allows you to uh, change the flow of a program, run certain code or don't run other code. That's what your conditional control structure does. Relational operators. This would be your equals equals, your uh, less than or equal to, greater than equal to, not equal to. These would all be relational operators. Know what those are and what those do. A good example of that would be, let's see if I can't uh, move this on the screen here so we can do that. Let's see, I think I have a little example over here. Okay, so these would be your relational operators. This is it equals something. Does this equal something, I should say. Not to be confused with a single equals. Let me get my magnifier up here. There we go. So a single equals is an assignment. It means I'm saying this item equals this. If I have the double equals, I'm asking, are these two the same? Less than or equal to, greater than, equal to, not equal to. Those are your relational operators. Know what they are and what they do. That may be on the test. Of course, we have our and, our or. This would be for compound ifs, obviously. Uh, this and this or that. This is not. And of course, we can use that in booleans and other things we wanted to. Know the difference between, obviously compound and nested. Those are essentially your terms for this test, knowing these things up here. Now, and then of course you'll have to read some code. So, if I were to write if, you know, uh, at some variable defined, variable equals 5, and I were just to print out meh, like this. And if I had an actual variable, int variable equals 5, let's say, and this was the code you saw in the test, you would write out in the little text box, meh, because that's what would display on the screen. Now, of course, may not have, there may be a question as simple as this, but most of it will get a little more complicated with some nested ifs and some compound ifs as we get through the test. And then the last and final part of the test, obviously, is the programming assignment. Now, for that programming assignment, what you're going to need to do is effectively just write the program. Here is a very simple project. You should know how to do this if you've done all the other projects and paid attention to the lectures in class. Make this. And that's it. All my tests are kind of laid out the same way. They do get a little more difficult as we go along because the topics get a little more difficult, but that's effectively it. So, as always, if you have any questions or comments or concerns about anything, you can come find me or send me a message, ask me, and I'll be happy to tell you. Otherwise, that's it. Have a good week.